Hi, and welcome to Community Hotline. My name is Monica Weitzel. We're here in Gresham at MetroEast Community Media. So glad you joined us tonight. We have a full show, and we're going to start out talking with an organization called Donate Life Northwest. I interviewed Donate Life Northwest a few years ago. I want to get an update on what's going on, and to talk about Donate Northwest, we have two people here. One is Arcadia Trueheart. You are the Community Engagement Coordinator. It's very nice to have you here, Arcadia.
Thank you so much for having us.
You bet. And Luisa Serrano, you are a volunteer and a recipient of organ donation, correct?
Yes, I am.
Very wonderful to have you here.
Thank you so much for inviting us.
You're very welcome. So I've been on the organ donor list ever since I turned 16, I think, and have you put it on your license? And I've always been a real advocate of that. But there are a lot of people that don't for some reason. Can you maybe tell us a little bit what Donate Life Northwest does, and maybe what your mission is?
Yeah, so our mission is basically to save and enhance lives through organ and eye and tissue donation. And so we do that through education throughout the state of Oregon and in Southwest Washington. And then we also maintain the donor registry, which is where you would register at the DMV, but you can also register online at our website.
Right. Okay. So you're going out and trying to tell people why they should become a donor, or why they should be on the registry rather, and educate them about the process and what that means to people, and then you actually keep the records for that.
Yeah, and I think the most important part of that is sharing people's personal stories of people who have received a donation and are only here today because of that.
Because of that.
And then also of families whose loved ones were a donor, and what that has meant to them to have that be part of their stories.
And that's why I'm so glad that you brought Luisa with you, so she can share her story, because that really is, that's the heart and soul of what this is all about. It's you're saving lives, and it's to put a face with it is really important. Why do some people not want to donate? What are the challenges there in getting people to sign up for the registry?
I think that there is a fear that people have that if they are registered as a donor, somehow maybe the medical team wouldn't try as hard to save their lives in the event. That's a fear I've heard from a lot of people, so I mentioned that, and I want to bring it up to dispel that myth by sharing that medical staff have no access to the data of who is a donor or not, who is registered as a donor or not. And that kind of information is only shared once somebody has been declared brain dead. And so there's no compromise in your health care, of course.
Well, don't they take an oath to try to save your life anyway?
Yeah, but there's fear around that. So just to dispel that myth, sometimes there's fear that somebody's religion won't support it, when in fact all the major religions in the U.S. do support organ donation as an act of generosity and life-saving, really.
And it is an act of generosity. It really is. So can you explain to me a little bit how this works? So obviously, if somebody does pass away and they have said they will be an organ donor, then the organs are harvested then, and there's a waiting list. Is that how that works?
Yeah. So it's a very complex process, and so I just want to begin by sharing that in order to be able to be a donor of organs, somebody must die of brain death, and they must be on a ventilator in a hospital. So actually only 1% of people who are registered to be donors ever can actually become a donor. And there is the possibility to donate tissues, which would include skin, bone, tendons, and also cornea, if somebody doesn't die at a hospital on a ventilator. So that is another option.
And is it a different, do you register differently, or does it's the same thing?
It's the same registry. So if somebody's registered and they die in that way, then they look into to see if they actually could recover any organs, if they're healthy. They go through a lot of process, and they also talk to the family of that person. So that's why it's incredibly important to not just register yourself, but to talk to your family about their wishes. Because your family is really part of that process of being able to do that organ recovery. And so then what happens at that point, there is a large waiting list in the United States right now, there is currently over 120,000 people waiting
Wow.
for different organs, the majority being kidneys.
Wow.
And so it's not so much a list as a pool of people because it's based on how long somebody's been on the list, their blood type, the severity of their condition.
We're going to have to move really quickly to do that.
They have, so there's a huge team that's doing that.
Right.
And they do have to move really quickly.
Right.
And yeah, it depends on location, all of these things. So all of this comes into play in a very short amount of time to make it possible to save somebody's life. Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, Louisa, a kidney is what you received. Is that correct?
Yes, I have a kidney transplant. Yes.
So tell me how this all came about. Were you sick for a long time, or what was your story?
Yes, I started sick in 1998. And the worst thing is no symptoms.
No symptoms?
No symptoms, no pain, no nothing. Good in one hand because I started enjoying life, but bad at the other point, like I didn't know until I went to the doctor and I was swelling. That's the most part. That's it, yeah. When I went to the doctor, he found like I have a kidney failure.
Wow. And
he started me giving some medicines, and sooner in a year, in 1999, I started hemodialysis.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
so just a year you were on the medicine, and then you started the dialysis.
Yes, because my kidney didn't improve. They both of them didn't work, anything.
Wow.
And it's when I needed to start dialysis. I started with hemodialysis. And after that, I do the peritoneal dialysis.
So there's different kinds of dialysis.
Yes, and after that, I did the machine during the night.
How much time did you have to spend, like say in a week, doing
the
dialysis?
Well, it depends on the dialysis. If it's hemodialysis, I was going to the clinic 3 times a week for 3 hours every day. But if it's the peritoneal, you can do it at home, but you need to do it every day.
Okay.
And you need to. It's a little bit more difficult because you have all the medicine you need at home, and it's a lot of medicine.
I bet.
Yes.
I bet. And trying to keep track of that is probably really hard too.
Yes, but after a year and a half, I received the phone call. I get my kidney, and in that time, the waiting list was only like 2 years. But now, because not too many people is donating, now the waiting list is more. It's like 5 or 7 years.
Really?
It depends on the state. Yeah,
the
more
state,
populated states, the longer waiting time. Oregon is one of the better states, actually. But yeah, overall, it's getting much longer.
So if you're on a registry to donate, is that for the whole country then? Is it certain areas? I mean, if I'm registered and I pass, and then I'm a match for somebody, then could it be anybody in the whole country?
Yes, but certain organs do not have as long of a life, essentially, to be able to be transported.
Oh, right.
Such as heart or lungs are much more delicate, so they would need to go somewhere very close, and oftentimes that would end up being right within your state.
Right,
Possibly kidneys that could travel longer distances, but they usually try and do it closer.
Okay.
Even though when I was in the waiting list, I didn't allow to travel. I need to be around 45 minutes from my hospital when I'm going to have my kidney transplant. And in that time, we don't have cells. I mean, I have a beeper, and I needed to be always with my beeper and around.
Right, and you had to be ready to go anytime.
And it was nice because you don't like to lose the opportunity to get the organ.
Of course.
Yeah.
Tell me about this picture. This is before?
That is when I was sick. Yes.
When you weren't sick?
Yeah, when I was sick. I was in dialysis. See, I was in dialysis at that point.
You look
I'm more skinny, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I lose a lot of weight because the same, you need to be in strict diet.
Oh, a specific, yeah.
Yes, a specific diet. In my case, not available to drink water.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was available only to drink 1 glass of water a day.
Really?
And that I use it for take my medicine.
Wow.
Yes.
A lot. There was a lot to do. I bet you had a lot of appointments.
Yes, a lot of appointments.
Oh, look at this. You look much healthier.
Well, you know, that picture exactly, I had my kidney transplant in April 2001, and that picture is in September.
Really?
Yes. And
you
that's
look
the
fabulous.
reason. So for the medicines, so swallowing again.
Oh,
for
a
the
little bit, yeah,
medicines.
yeah.
Yes.
She looked great.
Yes,
You
it
look
was
great.
just from April to September. You can see the difference. The
Oh,
difference
yeah.
is
Yeah,
like
and you have a
day
little
and
friend
night.
with you there too. Yeah.
Yes. And
this must be
now
down
that's
in-
my family. Yes. When I was sick and I was waiting for my kidney, I wasn't available to have kids.
Oh.
And even with the kidney, they told me it's going to be a chance like I didn't to be pregnant because all the medicine. But in a year, I was very stable with my medicine, and the doctor said, okay, it's going to be healthy if you try for a kid and just take out some of the medicines.
Okay. So you did that, or?
Yes, but she only take out the ones are not more important, you know. But the other ones I still taking, and the medicines are for life.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
And after I had my kidney, in a year with the medicine, I had my 2 kids.
Oh, they're beautiful. How wonderful.
Thank
How
you.
wonderful that you were still able to do that. So this is a really great, happy story, and this is this is what you want to hear about.
Exactly.
How do you feel about this overall? How do you feel about the fact that you've got this second chance at life?
Well, it's like we said, it's gift of life. It's a second chance, and after the transplant, you can live almost normal life. Because you need to stay in medicines and have a diet and take care of the new organ, because
Right.
that's the gift of life, and you need to exercise, eat healthy, and all the stuff you need to maintain the organ healthy.
That's great.
Yes.
That's such a
And
wonderful
that's the reason
story.
it's so important to people be a donor, because it can save up 9 lives. From the organs.
One donor could potentially save up to 9 lives with the amount of organs.
Wow. So we don't have a whole lot of time. So tell me how that works then. Besides, say, a kidney, what else? You said the cornea, what other kinds of things?
So tendons, skin, bone. So these all we call life-enhancing transplants, but they can be really life-saving. I mean, the skin is used as grafts for burn victims in a way that's much more effective than any synthetic bandage or material. The cornea can give somebody their sight back. So,
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, so we got about 3 minutes left. So tell me if we. You have a couple fundraisers, I think, or some events coming up. What do you have coming up here?
So a big event that we have coming up is called Cadena de Vida, which means chain of life. And that is being organized by one of our very dedicated volunteers, Alejandra Cortez. And that event is going to be in McVinville. And so she was inspired to do this event because her brother received a heart transplant, and it's in its 7th year. And so I believe there is a photo with some of the past event there, but we invite you all to that. That's going to be on August 20th. And then
the website has information on that, I imagine?
Definitely.
Okay.
And we have an active group of volunteers, and we invite people who are interested in becoming a volunteer to share their story, to share more information with the public about organ, eye, and tissue donation, to contact
most of the
us.
volunteers, recipients, or family members who...
Oftentimes, but we are definitely open to
anything.
anybody being part of it.
Well, you never know.
There's
you never
the
know.
event.
Oh, that looks like fun.
It's a fun event, and it also includes a lot of health information and health services too.
Okay, so and if people are interested in becoming an organ donor and they're currently not, what are the ways that they can do that?
So DMV is the most common way that people register, but that is not the only way. You can register online at our website. I believe we have a photo too to just kind of show you where to do that. It takes about 2 minutes to fill out the form. And we also have a paper copy of that form. If you want to call us, we can send you that form and you can send it back to us.
That's great. And there's a copy of it there. Sounds like you make it really easy to do something that's really, really important. That's going to change somebody's life and the family too. That's wonderful. Thank you both so much for being here. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad that this organization exists to educate people and to get them registered. So if you're not registered yet, do it. It's easy, it's painless, and it's it can make all the difference in the world. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for inviting us.
You're welcome. And don't go away. You can check out their website for more information, but we have another segment coming right up, so stay with us. We'll be right back with more of Community Hotline.
my documentary was more than I ever would have dreamed of doing.
This is a community media station.
It was phenomenal.
Ready, camera one.
What is it about this place that makes so many different people come together?
Ready, camera two.
Very professional, experienced people.
You can use these industry standard pieces of equipment.
Ready, camera three. Take three.
You don't have to be rich to do this.
Open people's eyes to something they've never even thought of before.
Cool stuff happens. It becomes this community.
That's going to really change who's telling the stories and who's controlling the messaging.